Hey guys, this is Atul from team K21Academy, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the program or the course or a live interactive training program, which is developing generative AI applications on AWS Cloud. This is one of the most extensive generative AI or specific to generative AI program, which is targeted for. I'll explain you who this is, and let's look at what we're going to cover in this video. So we'll look at why I started this program, what is the course description, what is the objective, what you'll be achieving after completing this program. Also, the course outline. There's 8 modules. We'll be talking about 8 modules. This is built based on what AWS recommends, mainly for someone who is building, developing, or managing generative AI applications, which is hot in demand as well in the in current world. So, what these each module are, we'll also cover what are the hands-on lab you should be performing, and then I'll cover who this is course is for, yeah, and also if you have any specific question, you can leave them under comment section if you're not one of them or if you not sure why you should be doing that. We'll also look at what are the prerequisite. Any prerequisite also bundled. We are giving this as a part of this program, so you don't need to worry about anything and everything that you need in order to be successful in developing, building, managing, and maintaining generative AI applications on AWS Cloud, including tools and services. And then also cover the course format, how you're going to run it, and then also frequently asked questions that we get and how to register for this program if you wish, or if you have any further questions, you can, as I said, leave them under comment section as well. So in a very high level, all our program comes live, interactive, instructor led. You can ask questions with also you can on a weekly basis we'll have sessions and we'll have both the batches weekday and weekend, and you will have option to do attend both of them for unlimited time over the next 6 months, which should be more than enough for you to learn, manage, and get a result from this. It's a comprehensive program which is on the lines of what AWS recommends, which is 8 modules, and then we say 50 plus lessons, but they're going to be much more than that in my view, definitely. And then we'll have practice sessions, hands-on. It's like we learn by doing practice. We'll be covering. We'll also cover all the basic concepts that you need to learn, which we'll be talking about. So this course is designed primarily for someone who's interested in learning and developing and managing and maintaining or in the world of generative AI, but primarily focused on AWS Cloud. We'll look at also things like large language models without that doesn't need any fine tuning, which will be cover, explain that as you move forward. We'll also be doing some projects on Bedrock, which is one of the core tools or surveys from AWS, which is for generative AI. We'll also look at foundation of prompt engineering. You might be familiar with the basic of prompt, but how does things happen behind the scene, what you should be doing and how you should be doing, and including the architecture pattern. This is important for someone who's becoming an architect or would be developing applications and talking the context of how the architecture look like for to build any generative AI applications using Amazon Bedrock, and also LangChain, which is a framework which will be covering, also explaining what is LangChain and so on. Now, what is the core objective? We'll come to the core objective once I explain the module so that then I come back. But everything and anything and everything that you need in order to be successful in generative AI on AWS Cloud. So this is all which will come back in a minute. But first is I'll give you the course outline. We'll begin with module 1, which is Introduction to Generative AI and what is possible as well. So we'll look at basics of generative AI. We'll begin with what is the difference between traditional AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, as well as deep learning, and then generative AI, which is a subset of deep learning. What are these? Also, we'll look at the risk and benefits, generative AI in practice, what are the common day-to-day use cases, why it's becoming so popular, and what are the common use cases, including industry-wise as well. Then once we understand the AI, its benefits, risk, basics, concepts, everything, then we'll look at including machine learning as well, which is basically you should be understanding as well, the basics of that. Then we are going to go in module 2. So module 1 is all about theoretical part, but understand all the concepts that you need to build your structure or base on top of. Then in module 2, we are going to talk about is planning a generative AI project. And this is where we're going to look at AI fundamentals, AI in practice, what is a context, because context is key or everything in both in generative AI as well as normal. I think it's more important in generative AI, the context as well. And then how do you plan a generative AI project? We're going to pick a project. We're going to pick a shoe brand company, and we're going to build a how we're going to develop or do from end to end, right from developing a product. Let's suppose you're a business user. How do you go and implement that using the generative AI, right from designing the idea analysis and then all the way to selling, and then selling to the customer, as well as doing some day-to-day operations on that. We'll be doing this whole project on that. And then we'll be doing risk and mitigations. And what are the risks and how do you mitigate those risks in generative AI project? Then in module 3 is going to be all about Amazon Bedrock, which is a service which is for generative AI. So what is the generative Bedrock look like? This is where we're going to create a account in AWS. And then if you don't have, if you already have good, then we'll play with the Bedrock service. What is the architecture and what are the common use cases, and then how to use Amazon Bedrock. And then we'll be setting up a Bedrock access and using the playgrounds within that AWS environment. So it's an actually hands-on driven this module. Then we are going to look at module 4. 4 is all about foundation of prompt engineering, and this is where we'll understand the foundation models. Now, everything in engineering or generative AI is built on top of the large language model. You might have heard of LLMs, and within that you have some or you have foundation models, and you can develop your own models as well. But we are going to understand what is foundation model look like and how you develop your own model if you need to. Also fundamental of prompt engineering, basic prompt techniques, and then advanced prompt. This is important for you. You might have done the basic prompts, but advanced prompts as well. And then how do you do a fine tune a basic prompt? We'll be doing a demo on that. Also, there's a model specific, so depending on the type of model, there are different foundation models we'll be covering. And based on the model, what are the specific prompt techniques, including any issues that comes with prompt when you have addressing any prompt issues as well. And then there's a biasness you can incorporate, and you'll understand when you understand the basics, what is bias means, how do you mitigate those biasness as well. And then we'll go to do a hands-on demo on image-based bias migration as well here. Now, module 5 is about Bedrock application component. This is where we will be looking at the application and its use cases. We'll be looking at generative AI, what makes an what components make an generative AI applications. That is where we'll go deeper into foundation models as well as the foundation interfaces that we've learned in the previous modules. We'll also look at data sets. This is where the more crux of everything is about data sets and then embedding in that. We'll be looking at what we'll be doing a demo on word embedding, how does it work, and then additional application components that you need more advanced things. There's a concept of RAG, which you should be familiar. We'll be talking about that, as well as how do you fine tune a model. We'll be looking at that as well, including how do you secure. Security is an important point, and that can set you apart from a normal generative AI engineer. So how do you secure that generative AI application, and as well as how does generative application architecture look like? We're going to go deeper into application architectures in the last module, module 8, but this is where we'll be starting and understanding the concept of in the context of Bedrock application components. Then module 6 is all about foundation models or building and developing and managing your foundation models using Amazon Bedrock. So what does foundation models mean? Their introduction, and then interface. How do you interface or how do you interact with foundation models? Models basically. So I keep mixing up models. It's models. And then what are the methods available? And then how do you do data protection and durability, auditability, which is very important. As I said, security, data protection, and auditing is very, very important. And this is where we'll be invoking a Bedrock model for text generating using a zero-shot prompt. There are two prompt methods we're going to learn in prompt engineering, and zero-shot prompt is one of them. That's where we're going to go deeper into that. Now, module 7 is all about LangChain, which is an open source framework or libraries, set of libraries that we'll be using for a lot in generative AI. And that is where we'll be whatever LLM we have understood, we are going to optimize the performance of those LLM models. That's because key, both in terms of getting response as well as the compute it uses, because it uses a lot of compute, which is nothing but your CPU and memory. We'll also integrate AWS with LangChain. How do you integrate that? And we'll be using models with LangChain as well. We'll be constructing prompts. We'll structuring documents indexes. LangChain has a concept about there is a components in LangChain which is very interesting to learn, and that is where you'll be working a lot. So that has documents, they have indexes, that have memory, which you'll be using. So how do you store and retrieve the data in memory? And there's a chain, that's where you have multiple LM models. How do you chain with each other? That's what we're going to look at, using chains to sequence components or models with each other as well, which is more complex models that you build. Then how do you manage external resources with LangChain agent? So agent is nothing but where you need, for example, you have a data sources, you have different components, different interfaces. So those agents will play a role. So how do you manage those external resources which are outside your LangChain or LLM model? How do you interact with them using agents? And this is where we'll be using Bedrock with, again, LangChain, using a prompt that includes some context behind that. So that's about LangChain. And then eighth and final module is all about architecture pattern that you see. So as I said, module 8 is all about architecture pattern, and then that's where we're going to do a lot more hands-on demos as well. So we'll be looking at what are the architecture pattern and specific to the chat GP or like this generative AI, including text summarization, and then we'll look at text summarization of small files with Android Claude, and which is a basically it's a generative model developed by this company and which is founded by former OpenAI researchers who were in earlier part of OpenAI team as well. We'll also look at abstractive text summarization with Amazon Titan, and then Titan is again a suite of foundation models which are developed by Amazon AWS. They've developed this. So how do you work those basically foundation models? How do you use them? Using a long chain, answering a question and answering as well. We'll look at chatbots, and then using Bedrock for question answering using chatbot that we'll be developing. Also, we'll be looking at conversational interface, which is chatbot with AI21 LLM. This is another company, research lab. AI21 it's a research lab. They've developed a lot of more advanced AI studio to build more advanced basically interfaces. So how do you do that? How do you do that or use them as well? We'll also look at using Amazon Bedrock for code generation, and then LangChain agent for our how do you interface that with your interface agents with your Amazon Bedrock as well, and then finally integrating Amazon Bedrock models with LangChain agents so that they can interface and talk with other LLMs and do more advanced things as well. So that's pretty much very comprehensive, one of the most comprehensive program that you would see that will help you understand as well. Now, who this is course is for, as I said, a lot of guys ask, oh, do I need to do a programming, coding, and so on? Depending on your background, you may or may not need that coding or programming. But whatever you need, as I said, is inside the program. So first, who this is primarily. So this is mainly for 8 or 9 target audience, because generative AI is pretty much everyone needs to know and understand this if you want to be successful in the career. And that's why I started working and learning on AI, machine learning, and generative AI last 1.5 years, 2 years. So when I heard this, that and you'll see that more and more hearing about so who this is for. So basically, mail targeted beginning with software developer and engineers. If you're a developer, engineers, and who you are looking to integrate your generative AI capabilities into your own applications, or you have a client who's working for and they're looking for integrating AI in their application, which is more these days everyone is doing them. Also, you're also using, like suppose you're using integrated development environment IDEs, and then how do you use Copilot from Microsoft, or you're using any of those basically, and Amazon has its own as well, the IDE that you can use for code generation as well. Also learning how to deploy and manage AI models on AWS. You may be a data scientist or machine learning engineer who would like to become one, and want to seeking an experience and knowledge on AI and machine learning will definitely help you. Also, you want to implement and fine-tune generative models like GPT-3 and GPT-4. 4 is more common now, which is developed by OpenAI or Delhi, or on like these models on AWS Cloud. You might be an AI researcher or would like to and working on AI, and in exploring AWS as a platform engineering for your AI models, or you are looking to understand infrastructure services that AWS provide that will be using for your AI research and development. So things like S3 buckets, you have the Glue, Athena for data ETL tools, and all those things that you will need, including of course Bedrock and Q, and then SageMaker and all those things. It'll also be helpful for cloud architect who needs to design and implement AI solutions on AWS Cloud. That's where I started my journey, why I started this mainly for. Also focused on integrating generative AI models with a larger cloud architecture in your cloud architecture, implementing those. That's what we're going to look at in module 8 as well. Also, if you're a business analyst or product manager who is wants to understand the capabilities and application of generative AI for your business application, or wanted to explore and show how AI can be used in creating new products and enhance. And this is very common in business analysts and project managers. You can set yourself apart by showing that you know these things. Also, you're helpful for startups and entrepreneurs, and this is another thing which I'm using. If you're exploring ways in you can incorporate generative AI for new product, new services. We are using this for content generation. We are using for all our marketing. We are using for the graphics. We are using for video creation at a very early stage, but we can build our own whole courses. I'm not using that for now, but over a period of time, we'll be incorporating, improving our suggestions or on content creation, marketing material. Also, helping the clients. That is where we are using as well, seeking knowledge to cost-effective and scalable AI solutions provided by AWS. Also, IT professionals, you're working in IT and want to upskill your AI and cloud computing expertise, or managing AI projects, or deploying AI applications on AWS Cloud, or your trainer or educators who have a knowledge of other, like for example, cloud infrastructure or AWS Azure, or maybe something normal Python or PHP or other things, and you want to now teach generative AI. That's where I think I'll be bringing experts, of course, AWS experts who knows in and out of these. So how do you teaching AI, machine learning, cloud computing, and or you need to stay updated. And then final is about students and learners, who we have a lot of students who are in final year in studying in universities and want to pursue your studies in AI and machine learning and related fields as well, and looking to gain practical experience. There's a lot of theory and fluff, but practical experience is where I do as well. Now, what are the prerequisites for this? Now, if you have any specific questions, you can leave them under comment section, and I'll tell you other things as well, or you can connect with my team as well. What are the prerequisites? It's good to have technical essentials, but if you don't have, you're going to cover everything. As I said, we have a program where we cover AWS for beginners, and we go and cover all the services that we'll need, right from creating a free account, if you already have, how to use that better manner, all the services, and not just the Amazon generative AI services, but all the dependencies around that. So things like S3 for storage, or for data, you have data ETL tools like Glue, and for streaming data for Kinesis and Athena and so on. Also, for security, around security, you will need there's a Neptune, there's another service that you do for security. Also, config management and monitoring and CloudWatch and config management and so on. So all those things that you need will be covering inside that basic AWS essentials. And then you need if you are doing a coding and programming, there'll be some part of coding and programming. If you're coming from a development background or want to develop applications, there'll be some Python required. And again, we have a Python program inside that, which is a Python for data engineers and data scientists. Will be talking about that as well. So you'll be getting both as a prerequisite, so you can perform them as well. And you can ask questions if you need anything. So that's covered. Pretty much everything that you need is covered. Now, how the course format is, it's going to be live, instructor-led basis, both theoretical and practical, followed by everything will be available on the portal. So in case you miss any sessions, there'll be live session recording will be available, so you can watch those recordings as well. Apart from that, you will be having access to WhatsApp group. You will also have access to the ticketing system, so that you can ask questions, you can make us accountable, you can track the progress, and so on. Also, apart from that, you'll be having asking technical question in WhatsApp group. You can ask we have a community there, you can post questions, and then you can ask there as well. So multiple ways that you can come into the live interactive sessions with the trainer. Also, you'll be getting a course completion certification from us. We are quite known now, and we are quite mature, and we have a lot of weightage in terms of academy. So developing generative AI on AWS Cloud, you'll be doing, and this certification will also basically will help you to move towards other certifications like AWS machine learning, or AWS AI, which is AI Foundation, which is yet to come. I'm recording it in prior to that, it's still in beta. So will be so once it comes, that will help in that certification as well. Now, some of the common questions: how do I register? The link should be given in below this, or I'll check out with my team, but there'll be link within this video, I'll update this page, and I'll share below this video the link to register as well. Refund policy, we're quite generous in our refund policy, but we have 60 days, but you have to do the work. What I mean by is you have to show that you attended the sessions and you have took action and you performed the hands-on lab and you think it was not worth. So So as I said, I'm very transparent. You will not get a result on anything if you don't do the work. So if as long as you've done the work, which means you've completed the hands-on labs, you've attended the sessions. If you think it was not worth, you have 60 days for you can ask for refund. We'll ask you to submit those documents, which means hands-on lab, and of course we can track the sessions you've attended or not. But make sure that you say I'm attending day one, day two, like that, all the sessions. I hope that's very transparent and open. I don't want people to feel, they didn't get value, so I'm quite fair. Do I need coding and programming? Depending on, as I said, uh, depending on if you are an architect, you don't want to do all of the things. If you're a developer, then yes, Python will definitely help, but it's not mandatory. I'm doing it, I'm learning it. I don't have any coding and programming language. I have no desire to learn coding and programming, but it's helping me on architecture level designs, and it will be helping me. It's also helping if you're a business analyst or working on basically product managers, product owners, program managers. Again, you don't need that. It's good to know whatever is required will be covering inside the program. The trainer will be explaining the code so that you understand. But again, you don't need to be, I hope you understand. If you're not developing the models, then you're good without programming. Uh, Now, date and time, as I said, we run multiple batches, multiple times. We run weekends and weekends. Weekends and weekday, you can join both of them. Either of them or both of them, you will have a recording to all of them just in case you miss. So, yeah. Investment, I think we have two options. We have one single payment and we have installment option. There is some, like if you join early, we have 25 seats limit per batch. So if you join early, you get some offer and discount, but speak to the like on again on the registration page, the link should be there on how much is investment. The sooner you attend, the better, because we are constantly increasing the price, so there'll be some discount on for early registrations. Yes, there will be installment option. So you pay slightly more, but you break it down to three parts. I think two parts, not three parts. I think two parts, but we'll give you on the page. I'm still on debating with my team on this. Batch size we limit to 25 guys. The reason we limit it to 25 is we encourage the previous batch students can come back, and I would highly recommend you to come back because it's constantly evolving. The program is constantly evolving, and we update as things change, as models change, as new things come. It's a very dynamic phase, and you will have access to 6 months, which is more than for enough for you. And you can always come back again after 6 months with the very nominal fees for that as well. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any other question, leave them under comment section. And yeah, let me know if you have any further questions that you have for me, please, on this video. With that, this is Atul from team K21 Academy. Um, yeah, and go and register. Link should be below this video. And if you have if you want to speak to my team, you can reach out to them on I think, or WhatsApp. It's k21academy.com/WhatsApp, or I'll share a link how you can connect with my team, k21academy.com/WhatsApp, or best would be leave a comment so I can answer, or they will connect. They'll put you in touch with me if you have any questions. Now go and get it. And as I said, can't wait to help you on this program, which is very, very near and dear to me. My whole point. Let me tell you a little bit about, or maybe I'll discuss it some other time, or I'll put it a separate video as well for you. But I've been doing in IT for more than 2.5 decades, or close to 2.5 decades now. And then every few years I've been updating myself and learning new things. So back in 2004 or 5, I learned security, identity, and access management. That catapulted my rate from earning here in UK from 2,400 to pounds per month to 425 pounds a day, which is 10,000 pounds, to then working on cloud DevOps back in 2007-8, which is moving me to 600, 700 pounds a day rate, to then multi-cloud in 2018-19, where it catapulted to 1,200 pounds a day, 900 to 1,200 pounds a day. And then from last 1 or 2 years, I'm doing now AI, generative AI, work with multiple clients. This is just to say my whole result of success is all because of me constantly learning and new things as well. So keep updating, keep learning, and wish you all the best. And if you have any questions, leave them under comment section. With that, this is Atul from Team K21 Academy. I'll see you inside the program. Take care. Bye bye. Just to add to the previous point, I was getting a lot of comments and messages about the pricing. So I thought probably I'll update this video with the pricing as well. So we were thinking about how much the investment required, what should be doing, and I wanted to make it very, very interesting. So what I did was I looked into the market and say what others are charging. So I looked at the free few things that are charging. So there's a AWS training and certification company that is basically partner with AWS, and what they're charging is $1,400, and that too only for 2 days. And after that, they don't know you, you don't need them, you don't have any support, anything, just for 2 days. And then I looked at some others as well. I found the similar price. There was another one, cheapest I found was $1,300, which was one here, but then another one was 1,400. So they were all in the range of I think $1,400, which is being suggested. There's another one which is $1,400. Let me go back onto this. Yeah, so $1,400. So pretty much on this, this was the price that I found on the market for this. So I wanted to make it very, very interesting. So we decided that we are not, first of all, limiting it for 2 days. We are saying that you need a bit more time on that. So we are giving you 6 months unlimited time retake of any time, whether you can attend any weekday batch, you can attend the weekend batch, you will have access to the recordings, you will have lifetime access, and 6 months of live interactive. You can update as we course update, you will get access to all this. Apart from that, you will need all the support, help, guidance on any of the hands-on lab over those 6 months as well. So that should be more than enough for you. So I wanted to make it very, very interesting, but also highly competitive, so like we can support and give you all the value. So we're keeping it for $997, just under $1,000. So $1,000, we're keeping it. And for I want to make it further interesting, and it's totally valued much higher than that, because of all the support you get. But I wanted to make it further interesting. So below this video, there'll be a wait list. Sorry for that. So there'll be a wait list. On that wait list, you will have links. Join that wait list, and for first 25 guys, I'm going to keep it further interesting, just $497. So first come, first serve. When we open that, it'll be $497, and after that, if you don't have that, that means your seats are filled. We'll be increasing the price after that. So first 25 guys will be open that link. So join that list, VIP, and then when we open, we're going to do it all for $497. Just wanted to add. Yeah, if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask. Leave them in the comment section as well, please. So join the waitlist. Link should be in this below that email as well for you. Take care and bye for now.